emotionally react to certain situations that you aren't happy with, only to get them reflected back at you time and time and time again? Well, I'm going to share with you an incredible tool that you can use to combat the emotional reacting. And I'm also going to talk to you today about why it is so important when it comes to things that we want to show up in our life, in our world, how emotionally reacting is actually doing the opposite. But before I go into that, my name is Natalie. So for those of you that are coming back to my channel, welcome. For those of you that are new, I am a conscious manifesting coach, and I also help and guide by coaching personal assistants to become more confident, to be able to get the job of their dreams and a salary that they are worthy of too. And this channel is absolutely dedicated to transforming your life, and the tools and techniques that I share, the law of attraction tools and techniques and NLP tools and techniques that I share with you in this channel really do and can transform your life if persisted in. If you are new to my channel and you haven't already subscribed, it would be great if you clicked the subscribe button. I'm really looking to get 100 so I can celebrate. I'm still quite new to YouTube. And also, if you click the bell icon, it will notify you of when I am posting. Okay, so back to this emotionally reacting. Now, I am somebody that used to emotionally react really badly. I had so many triggers, it was unbelievable. And thankfully, through all of the tools and techniques that I share with you on this channel, I have been able to combat emotionally reacting by using particular tools that I'm going to share with you today. But when I say I used to emotionally react, I mean, it would depend on the situation. It could be, a friend that had been letting me down all the time. So I would then emotionally react because they'd let me down again. I might send them a bit of a narky, text and just say, oh, well, don't worry because I created a plan B. Or it could be that I was being let down in a particular way from something else. Or it could be that somebody said something not very nice to me, and I literally was giving them my power by reacting. And by giving people your power, you're basically saying that they have control over you and your feelings. And we don't want that. We don't want people or situations or events or whatever it is to take our power, because what we want to be telling ourselves is that we matter more than the good opinion of others. So whatever is showing up, we are not going to be giving our power away, because we want to keep our power, because we are in control of us and we're in control of our emotions. So when we do react, we are basically showing to the universe that that is our dominant thought, that is our dominant energy. So the more we react to a particular situation or situations, the more those situations will come back at us. The more we react, the more that becomes our dominant belief, our dominant thought, that's our dominant energy, the more it will come back to us. Because our thoughts create what we think, we get reflected back at us. So like I said, when I was emotionally reacting to certain situations or to people, I would sometimes really lose it. I would get so angry and so upset because I was being triggered due to past hurts and experiences, which is another video, another time. But I would emotionally react, and then I would be perplexed about the same thing showing up again, or having the same behavior reflected back at me by certain people. Or I would emotionally react internally, not necessarily to them, but internally, but I'm still holding that energy, and that energy is still getting pushed out of what I'm thinking about the situation. All of this, all it's doing is perpetuating the situations to keep reflecting back at you. And you keep having that same dominant belief, it's going to keep coming back at you. Our thoughts create what we feel, what we think is an energy that gets pushed out and it gets reflected back at us. So how can we stop this? How can we stop this? So let's think of an example of let's just use a boyfriend or a girlfriend, for example, who you've agreed to see and you're really excited, you're really looking forward to it. They've been a bit flaky in the past when it's come to kind of meeting up, and they've messaged you to say, oh, something else has come up. Can I see you another time? And you were really looking forward to seeing them on that particular night. You cleared your diary for them. If that's a scenario, if you choose to react, to tell them how you feel about that, if you're feeling really peed off about it or upset about it, if you choose to react to that situation, you're basically saying that that is your dominant thought. And we don't attract what we want, but we attract what we want. And if that makes sense, if we are thinking about the situation in a negative way, and if we are emotionally reacting to that situation, whether it's to that person or internally, we're basically saying to the universe that that is what we want more of, because we're creating a dominant energy around it. So it's not really what we want, but it is showing the universe that that is what we want. And that is therefore going to block what it is that you want to come to you. So you ideally would want them to not be flaky. You ideally would want them to not let you down and to always be reliable. So what do we do? So just using this example, scenario as an example. So say, for example, they've said, oh, something else has come up and they really want to do that. Do you mind? Obviously you do mind. But what you want to do is just take some deep breaths. Maybe give it a few minutes before you actually respond. Take some deep breaths and just say to them, I really want you to have a good time and do what you really want to do. So yeah, you go for it, and I'll arrange to do something else with so-and-so. Now, the more you react that way, the less you will be let down, the less you will see that person as being flaky, because you're not creating an energy around that. You're creating an intention that, actually, that is okay. That's okay. Because I know that, and this is how you follow it on once you've sent the message, to tell them to have a good time. You can set the intention then following that is that, I know that I'm always prioritized. I know that I'm always their number one priority. I know that they always like to see me. I know that whenever they arrange to see me, that they always keep their word. And I love that about them. You tell the story of what it is that you want. And the more persistent you are in telling that story, the less you will get somebody showing up as being flaky. The more you persist in the story of that person always being flaky and always letting you down and, always changing plans, that is going to be the story that reflects back at you, because that will be your dominant energy, your dominant thought, which is blocking what it is that you actually really want to show up in the first place. So if you can control that emotion by, yes, you're going to be a bit upset, but if you can just control that, take some deep breaths and just know that that is yesterday's thought, and tomorrow's thought is going to be different, because you're going to start working on changing that belief around by believing that they are reliable, that they don't let you down, that they always prioritize you, that they always put you first when it comes to going out. That will be your dominant thought. And it might take a few goes for that to actually, a few times for that to actually sink in, because we will only see what is reflected back at us depending on what the dominant thought is. So if you persist in the dominant thought that you want rather than the dominant thought that you don't really want, you will start seeing that reflected back at you. You'll start seeing them changing their ways or showing up when you want them to show up, and they're becoming more and more reliable. So when we are looking at emotionally reacting, we know that then becomes the dominant thought, the dominant energy that then persisted in will be repeated and reflected back at you. So all we need to do is flip it around and change the emotional reaction to, brilliant, you go and have a good time. I really want you to do what you want to do. And I'll go and see Joe Blogs, for example. And then once you've done that, and you can just say, I intend for this person to always be reliable. I intend for this person to always keep their dates with me. The more you do that, the more you relax in it, the more you persist in that story, that becomes a dominant energy. That is when you'll start to see that reflected back at you. And you can do this in any area of your life, any area of your life. So the moral of this story is emotionally reacting will create the dominant thought, the dominant energy that you don't want. So when we stop emotionally reacting, and we focus on what it is that we do want, we can write this down using intentions, or we can just say it in our head over and over again. You know, they're always thinking of me. They always put me first. They're always prioritizing me. I love that they do this. I love that they do that. I love that whenever we arrange dates, that they always keep to that date. It's, you know, they're always thinking about the fun times that we can have together. They're always prioritizing me. Whatever that intention is that you are going to use, the more you do that, the more it will reflect back at you. And that really is how easy it is to not emotionally react, and why to not emotionally react. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to comment below. Or hit the subscribe button and the bell icon that will notify you of when I'm next posting. And I also offer a variety of one-to-one coaching solutions. And I used to be the queen of emotionally reacting. I really, really was. And I've been able to combat that now just using these techniques. They're so powerful, really, really powerful. And it really, really does work. And if you are struggling with this, because I struggled for a lot in my life, I struggled not to react to certain things, then I am basically the person to come to, because I am proof that this does work and you can turn your life around and get the outcomes that you really, really want. So that's it from me. Take care, everybody, and I will see you soon.